Hello everyone. Hi everyone. Welcome to this Q&A. I just realized that I had scheduled the class on YouTube to 12:20. That was a mistake. The class is at 12. I'm sorry about that. Hello everyone. It's so good to be here with you. Let me know if you guys can see me and hear me well. Tudo bom? Oi, Graham. Olá, Douglas, Andrew, tudo bom? Okay, so today we are going to talk about the last lesson that I published on YouTube. It was about São Paulo, one of my favorite cities in the world. But before that, I want to tell you a few important things. One thing is that if you would like to have access to the transcript of my YouTube videos, you can have that. You have to sign up to a program that I created exclusively to offer you the transcript of my videos. It is called Speaking Brazilian YouTube Club. You just have to go to my website, school.speakingbrazilian.com, and sign up. You can try it for free for 1 week. So I receive a lot of emails of people asking, oh, where can I find the text of your YouTube videos? So there you have it. Take a look at the YouTube club, okay? I created this specifically to offer you the transcripts of my videos. Charles is asking, is your mini course still available? The course that I had a couple of weeks ago, the course called Viajando ao Brasil, Traveling to Brazil, this course is no longer available. It was available for 2 weeks only, but there is one mini course available. It is the mini course in pronunciation. This one is always available. You find it on my website, speakingbrazilian.com. Just go to the website and click and you find the mini course available, okay? Okay, guys, so I received one question from a member. Oi, Ruth, tudo bom? I received a question from a member of the YouTube club asking for recommendations of books to study Portuguese. I'm gonna give you some recommendations. I have never found a book, a grammar book or a complete book that I really like. So in my courses, I use my own material. I create my own material. So all my courses are, I only use original material prepared for my, that I prepared myself. I don't use any books because all books seem a little bit too traditional to me. Like, you know that Brazilians, we don't speak the way that we find the language on books, right? So the grammar, this in spoken language is so different from the grammar that you find in books. So that's why I create my own material, so I can show my students the variations of the modern language, the modern Portuguese that we really speak in Brazil today. But if you like to study grammar, I have a couple of recommendations for you. One book that I really like to study grammar is called Gramática Ativa. It means active grammar. Gramática Ativa. You find it easily on Amazon. There are 2 books, the level 1 and level 2. So if you are a beginner, you should start with level 1. There is also level 2 available. This book is very about grammar. So there is a lot of exercises. It is very good to study grammar, okay? But as I said, remember that Brazilians don't follow the grammar all the time in spoken language, okay? So the grammar that you find in books, it is not the way that Brazilians speak. So remember that when you are studying grammar. Of course, it is important to study grammar because you need to, to conjugate verbs correctly and to use the sentence in a correct way. But just remember that, okay? It is not, the grammar that you find in books, not exactly how we speak. And the second book that is also very good, it is called, just let me check the right name here, Modern Brazilian Portuguese Grammar. Modern Brazilian Portuguese Grammar. This book is also easily available on Amazon, and it is a very complete book. It is you find it is explained in English, so it was made for English speakers. It is also a very interesting book if you want to study grammar. Okay, so these are my recommendations for you. Of course, always remember to be flexible when it comes to grammar, because the way that we speak is not the way that you find in books. Okay? Okay, guys, let's start talking about the last lesson. If you have not watched the last lesson that I published on YouTube, I recommend you do. It is a very fun video about São Paulo. In the video, I show some of my favorite places in the city. Of course, São Paulo is huge. It's a huge city. It's big with a lot of things to do. So in the video, I only talk about a few things. I only show some of my favorite places. Okay, I hope you like it. So I'm reading some of your comments. If you have questions for me about the video, about São Paulo, about Brazil, about Portuguese, I'm here to help you. Okay, let's use this time to answer your questions. And so if you are on YouTube, I recommend that you copy and paste your question. If I don't see your question, you can just copy and paste again, so there's a better chance for me to see it, because it's hard for me to read all the comments. And if you are on Instagram, I recommend you use the tool. You see the question mark tool right at the bottom? Click on that and use that to ask me questions, okay? Because it is really hard for me to read all the comments. Tá bem? Okay, so I'm gonna see. How similar is São Paulo and New York? This is a good question. I actually find São Paulo and New York similar in many aspects. They are both really big cities with people from many different places. Of course, the New York is a little bit, it feels more international. You see people from many different nationalities. In São Paulo, you also see that, but not as much as in New York. In São Paulo, it's more common to see people from everywhere in Brazil. So people from other cities in Brazil, but also people from other countries, and a lot of culture, a lot of things to do. So they're similar in this way. I like to say that São Paulo is the New York of Brazil. You know, big city, lots of culture, lots of people from everywhere. It has like a similar energy, a similar pace. Everything is fast, things are going, people are always busy doing something interesting. So yes. Okay, looking for more questions here. Okay, so a question from Mehmet. I'm from Turkey. I want to learn Portuguese from beginner to advanced. Is this process, how much time will take? I think you're asking how long does it take, right? Well, it really depends on each person. Some people would take many years, some would take much less. So it really depends. If you're very dedicated and you study regularly, you can start to have simple conversation in Portuguese in about 6 months. If you really study, you know, and if you study regularly every day, or at least 3-4 times a week, I believe you can get to be fluent in Portuguese in about 2 years. But this is really, really generic, because some people need much more time to be fluent. It really depends on your background, how many other languages do you speak, what languages do you speak. If you already speak a Romance language, that helps a lot, because it helps you to understand Portuguese and to make connections. If you don't speak any other Romance language, so it will take you longer than that to be fluent in Portuguese. Okay, so be patient and take your time. Learning languages is never a fast thing. It's never quick. That does not exist. I see people promising on the internet like, oh, fluent in 3 months, in 6 months. I don't believe in that. I speak 4 languages, but it took me years, many years, to be able to speak each language that I learned. Okay, I've been studying English my entire life, and I still make mistakes. I've been studying French for 10 years and I still don't feel completely fluent. So you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to know that it takes time. Of course, that the more you study, the more you are in contact with the language, the easier it gets. If you have the chance to go to the country and study there, that will make the process much faster. Okay? Okay, looking for more questions, guys. Okay. I see a lot of comments. Se você adora São Paulo, por que você mudou para Nova York? Well, I love New York as well. So New York is an amazing place. I'm very happy to live here. Okay, guys, so in the video I talked about my favorite places in São Paulo. One of the places that I really like in São Paulo is Avenida Paulista. It's actually the name of an avenue. But there are so many amazing things going on in Avenida Paulista, amazing places to go in Avenida Paulista. And so if you go to São Paulo, I really recommend you go there. I'm seeing some questions here. Is there a Confeitaria Colombo in São Paulo? I don't know. I never heard of a Confeitaria Colombo in São Paulo. I know there are a couple in Rio de Janeiro, right? I think it is from Rio de Janeiro. I don't know. I never heard of a Confeitaria Colombo in São Paulo. However, there are many amazing confeitarias in São Paulo, amazing bakeries. We call them padarias. They are really, really amazing. And I actually made a video about padarias in São Paulo. I'll publish this video next Tuesday. So if you like padarias, Brazilian bakeries, don't miss the next video. Okay, so Ruth is asking, o que significa passeatas? So passeatas are like marches. So usually a passeata, it is some kind of manifestation, some kind of a march for something. So a political march against racism. This is called a passeata. Or it can have many different kinds of topics that people do passeatas for. So it's a march. Muito bom. Question: como é andar de bicicleta por São Paulo? Eu vi várias ciclovias no vídeo. Yes, so this is somewhat new. Riding bicycles in São Paulo, it is kind of tricky because there are a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hills in São Paulo. São Paulo is a city with a lot of hills. So you have to be brave to ride a bike in São Paulo. But it is very nice that today there are many bike lanes, a lot of ciclovias. We call it ciclovia in Portuguese. A bike lane, a bike path is called ciclovia. Ciclovia, there are many ciclovias in São Paulo now, so that helps a lot. And I saw a lot of people riding bikes in São Paulo this time, and also the last time that I went to Brazil. So this is good. I think it is getting easier. Not everywhere. You won't find ciclovias everywhere, so it is a little bit dangerous. You have to be careful. Very good questions. Qual é o seu bairro favorito em São Paulo? Eu amo Pinheiros. Eu amo Pinheiros também. My favorite neighborhood is the neighborhood where I used to live. It is called Jardins. Jardins. It is close to Avenida Paulista. I lived like in Jardim Paulista, so close to Paulista. It is really nice, amazing places to go, restaurants, stores. It's a very cute place. And I also like Itaim and Vila Madalena. There are so many good neighborhoods in São Paulo. Okay, guys, looking for more questions. How do I learn Portuguese? This is a good question if I don't have someone to talk to. Well, there are many ways to learn by yourself. I actually study languages most of the time by myself. Things that you can do to learn by yourself. You have to find things so many things available on the internet. So use YouTube videos, podcasts. And when you study with videos and podcasts, I recommend that you write down sentences, you speak out loud, repeat after the person. When you do that, you are learning a lot. You will assimilate a lot of the language, and then when you have the chance to speak with someone, you will be prepared for that because you got ready, you prepared yourself by yourself. So that's what I do. And also, you can find people to practice with also on the internet. If you go to forums, if you go to Brazilian, if you watch Brazilian YouTube videos, you find a lot of Brazilians in the comments. So talk with them, right? You can even find a language partner, someone who wants to practice, will help you with your Portuguese, and then you can help them with their English or another language. So there are many ways that you can study by yourself. And if you're really not comfortable with studying by yourself, I recommend you find a language partner. I offer that a community of other Portuguese learners on my Facebook group. So I recommend you join this group, and you find a lot of people who are also studying Portuguese, and maybe you can partner up with someone to study together. So even if you don't have to speak with a native speaker. You can speak with someone else who speaks Portuguese. Okay, so that's also helpful. You don't need to speak with a native speaker to learn a language. Okay, I know it is. Of course, we all want to speak with native speakers. Of course, it is a very good thing to do, but you don't need that to learn a language. You can learn a language. You can learn Portuguese without speaking with native speakers, without going to Brazil. You just have to be very, you need discipline, you need structure, you need to use everything else that is available. Okay, looking for more questions, guys. So a question on Instagram: if I wanted to plan a trip to Brazil, what's the best way to really immerse in the culture? I recommend if you go to Brazil that you try to have some kind of classes there. If your level of Portuguese is intermediate, I recommend you try to take a class in some topic that is not Portuguese. Take a class of a culinary class to learn how to cook something, or a class, an art class, or something like that. That would help you. That would help you learn Portuguese like with native speakers in a very natural way. So that's my tip for you. But if you are a beginner, you cannot really take classes about something else. It would be too hard for you. So maybe taking a Portuguese class in Brazil would help you to get in contact with other people and try to connect with people before you go, so you can maybe meet people there. One thing that I have a friend that does this a lot, and it sounds super fun, which is couch surfing. There's a website called couchsurfing.com. I think this is the website, and there you can find people. You can sign up and stay at someone's house. So if you go to Brazil and you do couch surfing, you could stay with a Brazilian, and then we'll have direct contact with a Brazilian. Maybe this person could take you for a walk somewhere. So there are many ways things that you can do to be in contact with Brazilian culture when you go to Brazil. So here are some tips for you. Another question on Instagram: os táxis são confiáveis em São Paulo? Tem Uber? So are taxis reliable? Is there Uber? Yes. And yes, taxis are very reliable in São Paulo and everywhere in Brazil. And also Uber now is very, very popular in São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. I'm not sure about everywhere else. And also in the South, it is very common. People are using Uber a lot. So, and you don't even have to do anything. You can just use your international app. So I have the app that I downloaded in the US, and I just go to Brazil and I use the same app, the Uber app, and it works perfectly. And it's super cheap in Brazil. If you go from the US to Brazil, Uber is super, super cheap. It works perfectly, and it is also very reliable. Okay, so taxi and Uber, don't worry about that. You can use it and it is safe. I don't recommend Public transportation is more complicated, so be careful with that. You should study well and get prepared well before you use public transportation, especially at night. But Uber and taxi is super easy to use and super reliable. Okay, guys, looking for more question. What is the first thing you learn first when it comes to learning languages? Well, you could start in many different points. Some people, you could start learning some basics on pronunciation, because sometimes you see a word and have no idea how to pronounce that word. So that I think it is useful to start learn the alphabet, how to pronounce some sounds. But what I like to do is I make a list of the most common questions and answers, like what is your name? What do you do? Things like that. What do you like to do? And I practice how to ask and answer those questions in that language. So that's the first thing that I do when I'm starting to learn a language. So for instance, I was starting to learn German. I stopped now because I was too busy, and German is so hard. I promise I will go back to German someday. But the first thing that I learned was those things, like how to ask, what is your name? My name is. So the most important, the most common questions. And then from there, you just continue. And then you start like verb conjugation and everything else. But I really like to learn how to ask and answer common questions, because then I can start speaking with someone, and I like that. I recommend you do that. Would you recommend also using an online tutor to help learn foreign language? Yes, of course. I think that everything is good, guys. Like YouTube channels, podcasts, online tutor, online courses, everything is good. You have to think about what you like, how you like to learn. I like to have a tutor, but I also like to study by myself. So I like a mix of both. I like to take my time to study by myself, and then I like to have a tutor to help me with some things, and especially to correct my pronunciation and to challenge me a little bit. So yes, you can find tutors easily. I think that having joining a course, it can be an online course, or having a tutor, it will help you to be more committed, right? It will help you to really take your time to study, because sometimes when you study just by yourself, it is harder. So if you're looking for Portuguese, I offer many courses in my school. Go check it out. Take a look on my website, speakingbrazilian.com. I offer group classes via Zoom, and also private lessons with a Brazilian teacher. So if you're looking to learn Portuguese and you need some help, I have a lot of options available for you, in addition to all the free material that I offer, right? So if you're looking for that, take a look on my website. You'll find all the information there. Okay, guys, looking for more questions. Okay, is São Paulo as safe as Rio de Janeiro? I would say they're similar when it comes to security, to safety. They are both a little bit dangerous, but you should not worry up too much about that. When you go there, you can have an amazing time. Just be careful, as you would be in any big city, okay? Okay, guys, looking for more questions. I have a couple of questions here on Instagram. So Emily is asking, como você fica confiante quando aprende uma nova língua? How to be confident, right? So this is something that we need to work on ourselves, because it is very common to feel insecure when you're learning a new language. And I had that issue a lot when I moved to the US. I could understand English, but I was very insecure to speak. But one thing that you have to remember, you have to allow yourself to make mistakes. You know, you are speaking a foreign language, a different language, is not your mother language. You are not obligated to speak perfect Portuguese, you know? You don't. It is normal to make mistakes, so you should accept that. And people, if you're talking with a native speaker, they will understand. They will not expect you to speak perfect Portuguese. Brazilians think that anyone speaking Portuguese outside Brazil, we think it is super cute. Don't worry about making mistakes. You will learn. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn, because people maybe try and correct you. So once you make a mistake and someone corrects you, you'll never forget that, right? So you will assimilate that, you will remember. And just don't be afraid of making mistakes. So I think that's the tip I have for you. And remember, oh, this is not my mother language, so I am allowed to make mistakes. And don't be ashamed of making mistakes, because it is normal. You will make mistakes. And you know that even Brazilians make a lot of mistakes when they're speaking Portuguese, grammar mistakes. So really don't worry about that. That will help you with your confidence. Be that it is okay to make mistakes. I'm going to speak Portuguese. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's it, and I don't care. Tell that to yourself. That will help you to start speaking, and then with a lot of time and practice, it will get much easier, and you will make less and less mistakes. Okay, very good questions, guys. What is the exchange rate? So today, $1 is worth about 5 reais. So more or less things, if you go to Brazil and if you earn money in dollar or euros, things in Brazil are really not expensive at all today because of the conversion rate. Very good questions, guys. Looking for more questions here on YouTube. Okay. How much time should I study each verb in Portuguese to be proficient? What are some learning strategies for verbs? Well, there is really no answer for your question. How much time? There is no way to answer that question, because it really depends on each person. Each person is gonna need a different amount of time to learn something. I recommend you to learn verbs in Portuguese. What I recommend is that you don't focus on learning verbs. I recommend you focus on talking about topics. So think about topics that you like to talk about. For instance, what are your hobbies? How would you talk about your hobbies in your own language? I recommend you stop and you write a couple of sentences or a short paragraph. Try to make it simple. And then think about how would I say that in Portuguese. And then you can use Google Translator to help you in the beginning. Do that in Portuguese and then study those verbs. That's the way that I recommend you learn verbs, because this is more natural and it is much more fun than studying just verbs. Like studying just verb conjugation is so boring. So I recommend you do that. Don't study just verbs. Study verbs in a context. Try to talk about things, interesting things that you like to talk about, and then study how to say those, how to use those verbs in that context. That's how I recommend you learn verbs. Muito bom, gente. Looking for more questions. You guys have so many questions today. It's just hard for me to read all your comments here. How do I see the long-term future of my school? Oh, that's a very interesting question. I see my school, it is growing. I'm very happy with how things are going. I'm working with a team of teachers now. They are all amazing. I work with 4 teachers, but I really want to maintain things as they are. I don't want to change things. I want to be always available for my students. So all my students, they have a lot of access to me. They can all contact me directly. All my students in my school have classes with me at least once a month. So even though the school is growing little by little, it is very important for me to maintain this as it was since the beginning, right? That the students have a lot of contact with me, and I'm very involved in each student's learning journey. So thank you for your question, David. Okay, guys. When to use. So one question about grammar here, about a question I was struggling with in my exam yesterday. And when using verbs, when do you need the preposition G, and when do or that? So here you're talking about the connection with the preposition with the article G, do, da. So we use do and da when you have a feminine or masculine noun right after the preposition G, and we use G when you have a verb or a plural noun after the preposition G. So this topic is a little bit long, but I have a video about this on my YouTube. Look for this video, prepositions G, do, or da. I have a video about this topic on my YouTube channel. Take a look at that. That will help you. Okay. Thank you so much for your amazing comments, guys. I'm still learning German. I took a break now, but I really, really like German, so I want to go back. But this year, my goal is to learn Italian because my husband got a citizenship in Italian citizenship, and I could have if I wanted, but I have to learn Italian. I have to reach a B1 level. So that's a challenge for this year. So I'm switching to Italian, but I want to go back to German because I really love German. I was really having an amazing time. So, questions here on Instagram. Eu tenho amigos cariocas, sempre falam da praia, sempre. De que falam os paulistas? Oh, that's a funny question. I don't know. Paulistas talk about everything. Paulistas also love going to the beach. And I think Paulistas talk a lot about work because Paulistas work a lot, and I don't know, we talk about everything. How long does it take to learn a good level of Portuguese? I'm Italian. Well, since you already speak a Romance language, that helps a lot. So I would say that it would take you, if you're really dedicated and study regularly, when I mean regularly, I mean a little bit every day or at least 4 to 5 days a week. I would say that you could start having simple conversations in Portuguese in about 6 months, and you could be fluent in Portuguese in about 2 years. Okay, but then of course it really depends on you and how much time and effort you are putting on to learning Portuguese. Amazing questions, guys. So Sierra is asking, quais canais do YouTube brasileiros você recomenda? Guys, so this is a question for you. What YouTube channels, Brazilian YouTube channels, do you guys recommend? What YouTube channels do you recommend? I really like the shows from Globo Repórter. Not only Globo is the Brazilian TV, news TV, but I really like the one program that they make. It is called Globo Repórter. I'm gonna write in the comments here. Globo Repórter. And they have a YouTube channel, and you find a lot of programs there. Their Portuguese is really clear, and they talk about very interesting topics. They travel the world talking about interesting topics. That I really recommend that one. And now I want to hear from you guys. What other YouTube channels, Brazilian YouTube channels, you guys recommend? Okay, I see a lot of comments here. I'm looking for questions, guys. Você ensina só português ou vai planejar ensinar outras línguas também? So today I only teach Portuguese, but I do have a project that is very interesting. I might open a new channel to talk about the other languages that I'm learning and to share with you more things like that, and maybe to teach English at a basic level. But this is just an idea. I don't have any big plans yet, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I have something more concrete. Okay, guys, looking for more questions. So Charles is recommending Tim Explica. He's super fun. I follow him as well. Tim, he's actually American, but he speaks Portuguese, right? And he teaches English, I guess, to Brazilians. BBC Brazil with subtitles, that's a very good. The Small Advantages is also American, but he also speaks Portuguese in his channel. Okay, guys. Amigo gringo. I'm not sure I know this one. Viaje comigo. Oh, I know a lot of good tips, guys. So BBC News Brazil. Easy languages. They talk about many different languages, right? Porta dos Fundos. This one is for advanced level students, right? Porta dos Fundos. They're a comedy show. They're really funny, but sometimes not. I don't even understand what they're talking about because they make a lot of crazy jokes. É verdade que, yeah, Paulistas eat pizza with a fork and a knife. Yes, guys, that is true. And pizza in São Paulo is really good, but it's very different from pizza in the US. We add a lot of toppings, so that's why we need a fork and a knife because there is so many stuff on the pizza. And one funny thing in São Paulo, you also have sweet pizza with like chocolate and Nutella and stuff like that. I know it sounds gross, but it's really good when it is well made. Okay, looking for more questions, guys. Felipe Brazuca. I love Felipe Brazuca. He also teaches Portuguese. He focuses on Spanish speakers. It's really good. I highly recommend him. Okay. Amigo Gringo is American as well. Oh, there are so many Americans that have channels and they speak Portuguese. That is so cool. So at which level can I try movies in Portuguese? Well, I think you should start watching movies in Portuguese since the beginning because even if you cannot understand anything, it will help you to get used to the language so you can just watch the movie with subtitles in your own language. I recommend you use the tool Learning Languages with Netflix. It is free and you can just add to your Chrome and then maybe you can watch with 2 subtitles. But even if you're a beginner, if you don't understand anything, it will help you to get used to the language. And sometimes you can recognize a word and then you feel happy because, oh, I know this word. So that helps. I think you should start watching Brazilian TVs and series since from the beginning. Don't have to wait to understand everything that people are saying. I speak a little bit Spanish. I have a trouble with Portuñol. I mix Portuguese and Spanish. But when I go to a Spanish-speaking country, then I can, focus more on speaking Spanish. But my Spanish is from Argentina. Entonces hablo español un poco como los argentinos. Okay, guys, I think I'm going, this Q&A was longer than usual. Usually I just stay for 30 minutes. It was lovely to see you all here, and I'll be here again next Thursday at 12 p.m. New York time. And I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I hope it was useful. Don't miss my next video I publish on Tuesday. It will be about padarias in São Paulo, Brazilian bakeries. I think you will love it. Beijo e até a próxima. Tchau, tchau!